We are where we are, and we get to where we are. And I think a lot has been said about the mess we're in, but I want to draw particular attention to the process of public procurement itself, and to argue that not just in the case of the Children's Hospital, but also in the case of broadband, it has been proved to be entirely flawed. And in 2013, under the government that Alan Kelly, the Deputy Alan Kelly, was a member of, when the Troika were in the country, it was decided that we need a public procurement officer, and that officer is still in place. Mr Quinn was appointed as the state's first ever public procurement officer, and his aim at the time was to save the public purse £500 million. Fast forward 6 years and look at the mess we're in. But what's really striking about what's gone on here with public procurement is that the public procurement officer is also a member of the board of the National Children's Hospital, but failed to tell the Minister for Finance and Public Reform that there was actually an overspend taking place. And then the Taoiseach in this House stands over that and says, if somebody is on a board, his or her fiduciary and legal responsibilities are to that board, and the correct line of accountability is from the chairman of that board to the line minister, not individual board members acting on their own part. And we know since then that that is not the case, and that Leo Varadkar still remains to correct the record of the Dail. Finally, I'd just like to say that I think the next biggest farce in all of this is that the investigation is actually on the overruns is actually being carried out by PwC. There has to be a conflict of interest when there's a long-standing relationship with the main contractor BAM and a long-standing relationship with the HSE and PwC and the role that they play. We have put in an amendment to the motion, which we will be supporting if the amendment is passed, and that is to say that the time limit should be put on any investigation, otherwise we could have an overrun of time as well as money, and that should be 6 weeks. And I would just like to say that the government are behaving like Macbeth, the king who was afraid to step back from the blood he was up to his knees in, and it is about time that they pulled out of this and investigated an alternative.
Sharing time with Deputy Barry, I take it.